Hello and welcome to Cutting to the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I'm Ben, and as always I'm hanging out with Mike,
hello,
Claire,
hey,
and Pete. Bonjour! Pete's French now apparently. Peter.
Oui, ça va?
He's wearing a beret and a white stripy jumper, white and black stripy jumper. Anyway,
carrying a bag of onions, get rid of them.
yeah, you get that bag of onions out the room, Peter.
What, do you not want to buy my onions?
no.
With my cheese and
No,
French stick?
we've gone too racialist, that's it. We had a French listener once.
Once.
Today we're going to talk about war hero animals, animal war heroes. Go light and fluffy for once.
Ish.
It's still gruesome and horrifying, the environments these animals served in, and I'm sure they all ended with massive PTSD. But
forced to do it against their will.
forced to do it against their will in some
Light and fluffy, you say?
It's kind of a feel-good story in a sense, though, isn't it?
I don't know, I mean, Claire brought it to our attention.
Yeah.
Just wait, we'll save that.
I will just say this.
Save
We'll go
it.
through some new and returning listeners first, and then we'll crack on. Florence in Oregon, Kingston, Canada, Woking in the good old UK, Phoenix, Arizona, Port of Spain in Trinidad and Tobago, Telford in our hometown, London in the UK, Asheville, North Carolina, Krasnodar in the Russian Federation.
What?
Yeah, we're not banned in Russia for some reason. Probably because of Mike praising communism all the time. Lexington in Kentucky, Gateshead in the UK, Cebu City in the Philippines, Salem in Oregon, New York City, New York, Stevenage, United Kingdom, Bengaluru in India, Belfast in the UK, Guadalajara, Spain, Ashburn, Virginia, and Niles, Michigan. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you.
Tell a friend, please, if you want. Follow us on Facebook at Cutting to the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. Help us grow. You can subscribe to us and like us on YouTube at Apocalypse Bull. And you can listen to us on SoundCloud and most other podcasting platforms at Cutting to the Bull in the PTA. So, animal war heroes. Claire, how did you make me think, I know, let's do an episode on this.
I was just scrolling past something and then I saw this trenchy Frenchie.
You're a big French Bulldog lover, aren't you?
Yeah.
You've got 3.
Yeah, anything Frenchie just comes up on my phone. And yeah, this little trenchy Frenchie named Mutt used to take the cigarettes to the,
Soldiers in World War One.
Yeah.
So all the soldiers sat there in the fucking mud and the rain, and there's artillery going off, and there's this little French Bulldog carrying up packs of cigarettes, bless him.
Yeah, I should imagine he also, did some of the rats as well, because they're ratters, aren't they?
Are they ratters? I was they were too lazy.
No.
No, you put a rat in front of one of them, mate. Oh my god.
Fair enough.
My dog stares at our hamster and sort of dribbles a little bit.
Some genetic memory kicking in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a common misconception that it isn't cats that are bred for killing rats. They're too big.
Yeah.
An adult rat, baby rat, yeah.
Jack
But an adult
Russells
rat,
and things like
yeah.
that, yeah. Jack Russells were the key for that.
Yeah, they were.
Jack
Yeah.
Russells, Frenchies. All those little dogs with big attitudes, basically.
Yeah.
Chihuahuas. They'd have made mincemeat out of mice. Maybe not rats, because I've seen rats that are bigger than chihuahuas, and rats are fucking nasty.
Yeah.
Rats go straight for the throat. That's their natural first instant attack, is straight for the throat on whatever it's attacking.
Well, let's go from a dog to a horse. Nay. Tough shit, I'm doing it anyway. This isn't a democracy, Pete.
Oh, god damn it.
Warrior the horse. Captain Jackson, he rode his horse Warrior, and if you're going to have a horse, at least going to war with it, call it something badass like Warrior.
Yeah.
Don't call it Florence.
I was say Daisy would be a good name, wouldn't it? Daisy.
No, I want to be ripping people's faces off and kicking them in the face with its hooves. That's what you train war horses to do.
Is it?
Yeah. The horse is always in motion, otherwise you're a sitting target. You train it, and it will bite and take your face off with its bite,
Never.
or it will rear up give you a kick, or even kick at the back.
I thought they were just sort of trained to, you know,
Run.
run through the war and not
You know,
really
eventually,
think about anything.
you might get bogged down by infantry, so the horse has to keep moving, so it can't be hamstrung either, because once the horse goes, you're just a lump of metal on the top, or in this case, a bloke with his leg trapped under the saddle.
Yeah.
Although the British cavalry at this point are still carrying swords. And in fact, the 1917 pattern cavalry sword was actually the pinnacle of sword design, apparently, but even though they saw service for a year.
Oh, right.
Did away with them after that.
Well, if it was a pinnacle, why?
Everyone stopped using cavalry with swords, tanks were in.
Oh, yeah, good point.
So together they saw the war's fiercest combat. Warrior led the Canadian Cavalry Brigade in the war's final major charge at Maru Wood in 1918. A quarter of the regiment and half the horses were casualties, and somehow Warrior walked away without a scratch. They called him the horse the Germans couldn't kill. He had been in service for 4 years, in all fairness.
Fair play.
This
Without a scratch as well.
Yeah?
This isn't War Horse, is it? The film?
You know what? Never seen the movie.
Yeah.
No.
Good.
It could have been
Maybe
based
it
on
could have been based on
Does
this.
the horse die at the end?
No.
Spoiler alert, then no. It could well be.
I'm sure
Yes.
it retires in Ireland or something.
It's a good
Ah.
film.
Well, a century after
Yeah, it is a
World
good
War
film.
One.
It's a bit
Sorry.
sad, like, but
It's something that I'd always thought about watching, but yeah, I don't like seeing animals get hurt. It's one of the reasons I didn't watch it, because not
some
knowing the
scenes are
outcome.
difficult to watch,
Yeah.
obviously. But
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about watching people get blown to bits.
The animals, though, I draw the line at that.
Fluffy little bunny or something. No, can't do that.
I'm not so fussed about the bunny, actually. Second you got dog or better in there, I'm out. Yeah, a century after World War One, Warrior was posthumously given an honorary Dickin medal representing every animal
hasn't he
served.
suffered enough?
Give him a dick in.
The Dickin medal recognises acts of devotion and bravery by animals during periods of conflict or war. So even the animals can get a little medal.
Except it was 100 years later.
Well, yeah, it was...
Didn't get to enjoy it.
But he didn't have it then. Turpits. We got a pig.
Oh, the pig.
He's not so much of a hero.
Wasn't he on the boat? Yeah, yeah.
He had the honour of being marked as the mascot of the SMS Dresden, so that's the World War One German Navy. It's World War One, and the mascot gets left aboard the sinking German cruiser. She should have been a casualty of war, but miraculously escaped.
They're very good swimmers, pigs.
Are they? This is like we're naturally
I was
buoyant,
going to
aren't
say,
they?
it's probably the buoyancy,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I want to go to that island with the swimming pigs.
Their tail acts as a propeller as well.
Fuck off.
Mike, science officer, you have to take that.
That would be so cool. Though.
They do have a corkscrew propeller, don't they? There is such a thing as a corkscrew propeller, so that could work.
Yeah. Fortunately for Turpits, the crew of a nearby ship, the HMS Glasgow, sees the floundering pig, and a sailor dives in and rescues her. She gets awarded a fake Iron Cross, a great German military honour, and she's applauded for remaining behind when the rest of the crew abandon the ship.
She didn't really have much
Bastards.
choice, I guess. But
Turpit stays with the Glasgow for the remainder of her military career. In 1916 she retires to Portsmouth Whale Island Gunnery School, and in 1919 the war heroes auctioned off, raising $2,366.67, counting for inflation, for the British Red Cross. Her remains became food while her head's mounted. To this day that head remains on display at the Imperial War Museum. For some reason that's recognising Turpis as one of the most famous war animals. I'd say that's quite horrific. We sold it for bacon and cut its head off. Cut her head off. And then kept it in the War Museum.
Light and fluffy, Ben.
Like fluffy.
so what? Our war museum.
Yeah.
So we basically captured the German pig. And went, German bacon!
No, we gave it a little medal. We gave her a medal because she stayed aboard the ship when everyone else had abandoned it.
And made it into
A
bacon.
few years later, when she'd retired, yeah.
Okay, so they let her live for a
Yeah,
bit
she
then.
spent the rest of the war on the Glasgow, and then she went to a gunnery school, and then she had. All right, she had like a year after the war. She was auctioned off in
And then they
1919,
thought,
but we don't know how old she was, do we?
4.
We know how tasty she was.
I don't know. I'm not sure if I've ever had German bacon.
I've only had bacon in Germany. I don't know if that counts.
Probably.
Do they do bacon?
I don't know, to be fair.
Anyone in Germany listening, ask us, of course you do bacon. What are you on about? Of course they do bacon. It's a land of meat.
Yeah, but
They're known for meat. Of course they do bacon.
Yeah. They're more into the sausages.
Some of the Danish with bacon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they swap and change, don't they? You know, and
On a weekly basis.
Well, do we all rotate bacon?
This week we are eating sausages!
Do we all
Next
rotate?
week it is bacon!
No, I'm sure the Germans and the Danish, like, you know, yeah, I have a bit of sausage and we'll have a bit of bacon, and then we've got a full English.
Everyone does a full English.
You can swap some sausages and we'll give you some bacon!
Is that Danish?
I think so. More Norwegian, but I guess it's similar.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't looking. Obviously, I wasn't paying attention to the afflect of the dialect you were using, was I?
I was going for just a generalised Scandinavian.
Well, I don't know if Pete's racist accents.
Same time next week!
Probably is nowadays, to be fair.
I don't mean it racist in any way, shape, or
I know,
form.
it's comedic effect. At least they're white people you're mocking, we get away with it.
Yeah.
If that Velma's anything to go by, the only show with a 1.6 on IMDb. Anyway, let's move on to Judy. An English pointer and a purebred. She was a Royal Navy adoption on the HMS Grasshopper, which she was aboard when they got torpedoed during World War II. The crew, along with their mascot, found themselves captured and obviously went to a Japanese prisoner of war camp.
Oh, Jesus.
Light and fluffy, Mike.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Japanese are absolute bastards in this
They
period
didn't
of
torture
history.
the dog, did they?
Right, probably
No.
fucking ate it.
I was thinking they're going to eat it.
Judy's fucking awesome. During the ordeal, Frank Williams, an aircraftman, cared for Judy. Throughout their imprisonment, he shared his rations with her, and he pretty much saved her life by somehow getting her registered as an official prisoner of war.
I suppose she was a serving. If she was a serving soldier, she would have had documents. A serving animal, you know what I mean? There would have been
Surely
documents that went with her.
maybe they just blagged it and went, yeah, of course she has.
Potentially.
There was sunk on board that she went down with the ship, though.
Yeah, but potentially she would have documents of some form to say she was a serving animal, you'd have thought.
Well, she would growl and bark to distract guards beating on other POWs, and she also snuck off and brought food back to them.
Yeah.
Was it normal to have dogs aboard ships at this point?
Yeah, you'd have mascots. I mean, most ships had a cat. Keeps the rat population down. Because no matter on a ship, you always get rats, don't you?
It's also good for morale.
And will the dog keep the cat population down, is it?
Yeah, they also carry a wolf to keep the dog population down.
And then a bear
bear
to
to
get
get
the
the
wolf.
Yeah.
And a tiger to get the bear.
Yeah.
And then a lion.
Then you get a deadly rattlesnake in to bite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they get.
And then we get an eagle.
No.
Yeah, they'll take out the snake.
A meerkat.
There's an eagle on the
Prairie
list.
dog.
So I thought I was going to throw eagle in there, but she used to bark and growl to distract the guards beating on him. Probably taking a beating herself. She snuck off and brought food back to him, and she was freed in 1945. She received the Dickin Medal for magnificent courage and endurance in Japanese prison camps, which helped to maintain morale among her fellow prisoners, and also for saving many lives through her intelligence and watchfulness.
She was that beautiful, like black and white pointer, wasn't she? Or brown and white. It's hard to tell. It's black and white pictures, but black and white is a gorgeous thing.
Let's go back to the American Civil War. We've got an eagle called Old Abe.
Was it a bald eagle?
I hope so. It looks like it.
Yeah.
It was with the C Company, the 8th Regiment of Wisconsin Volunteers, and they named her after Abraham Lincoln.
What year are we talking?
It's the American Civil War, 1861 to 1865, 4 or 5, something like that.
It's before the eagle's used on their like emblem crest thing that they use.
Well, the eagle is the seal of the president, so I wouldn't like to say, to be honest.
Just wondering whether this is how.
Probably the national bird, though, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but I wonder whether that was before or after this.
Couldn't tell you. Honestly, couldn't tell you. He participated in marches, recruitment events, and perched atop shields during parades. And he was also a fundraiser. Thousands of pictures are taken of Abe and sold to raise money for soldier relief. And during the Civil War, old Abe saw battle, flying, fighting, and screeching at the enemy. The enemy failed to stop the Yankee buzzard, and he retired in 1864 and got presented to Wisconsin. And they put him in a cage and put him on display in the state capitol. Then in 1881, the state capitol caught fire and Abe died from smoke inhalation. He was then stuffed and he went back to the public showing, but another fire destroyed him. So they created him a replica instead of a memorial.
Oh.
That's got a sad ending, isn't it?
So far, this light and fluffy
Light and fluffy Pete.
has been pretty sad, other than the horse. So far, the horse is the only one that's lived. Oh, and the pointer as well, but...
Yeah, the pointer, she had a great life, apart from the Japanese prison camps.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean, like... the only one that actually kind of had it almost sweet, I suppose, would be the horse, so far.
Yeah, had 4 years of PTSD, horse PTSD to bring back with him, though.
No, might have been just a rock hard horse.
It's true, actually, isn't it?
I'm guessing...
He's called Warrior, I mean, come on, yeah.
Say, the fact his name's Warrior, the fact he was, like, unscathed in 4 years of battles...
Yeah.
That thing was lusting for blood.
Ripping people's faces.
With its lips.
As I say, you would have.
He was like that. He was more of a nightmare. That's what they call them, isn't it? The nightmares, the dark horses. Yeah,
I had one on Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It was always on fire.
Yeah, I had one on Skyrim. Yeah, you get one on Skyrim as well, if I remember rightly. But yeah, maybe he was a nightmare as opposed to a horse.
Well, what about bears? Wojciech?
The wrestling fucking bear.
Oh, Wojciech's awesome. He was the mascot of the Polish Second Corps 22 Transport Artillery Supply Company. He was a Syrian brown bear, was adopted by the troops as a cub during a pass-through of Iran, and he went on to become known as the Soldier Bear. During his service, the bear was 6 feet and 250 pounds, but was always a gentle giant and extremely comfortable around people, and the sight of him wrestling with servicemen was common.
Wrestling bears in your fucking spare time. I don't want these bastards.
The Polish, because they're fucking hard.
Do you think they give him a gun and got him to stand up and be like...
Probably, yeah, I'd imagine so, because
He
thing is,
carried
Claire,
artillery.
he carried artillery shells, he had a tin hat and everything.
Always.
He was given the rank of private, and he supplied frontline troops with shells and ammunition. The image of the bear with military rank carrying artillery will become part of the company's insignia, and it still is. To this day, that regiment exists, and they have, well, I'd imagine that is probably it's certainly probably the badge for the artillery in Poland. I know they use it on their military, in their military. He's a bit of a folk hero in Poland, Wojciech. There's kids' comics about him and everything. Yeah, after the war, the unit took Wojciech to Scotland, and while there in the Edinburgh Zoo, gave him the bear a home until he died in 1963. So he had a pretty good life going.
Yeah.
And imagine how fucking scary that would have been.
Oh my god, there is it. I mean, he's in a war, then he's in a zoo. He's caged for the rest of his life.
He gets to be around people, which he likes.
Do you think they tied him
He's
up
being
at night?
fed. You couldn't go and put him out in the wild, can you?
Do you think they caged
suppose
him
not.
up at night?
to.
Yeah, they have any closure for bears, didn't you?
Well, you know, because Mike, he could have like turned and gone at
Turned nasty.
turned and gone at any point.
It's just true, because you could have massive PTSD. Unless he's going to see a bear psychiatrist.
So would you cage them up at night, or would you just like let them sort of be sort of free?
He'd be in a cage, I imagine.
What if fireworks start
would that
going
be
off and he starts fucking thinking it's wartime again?
Would that be a Care Bear, would it? Bear psychiatrist. A Care Bear.
Yes, it would.
He's after that pun crown.
He is.
That shit, mate.
Fucking taking it! You can't take the crown. Claire's got the crown at the minute.
No, Mike's got the crown.
No,
How
you've
you
got
won it back the other week?
Did I?
Mhm.
Think we got it. It's a tiara.
Rip. Rip was a stray dog adopted by popular air raid precautions during World War II. And during the Blitz, when the Germans bombed our cities for 8 months and we couldn't really do a lot to stop them, at night,
Apart from grit our teeth and just be hard and go, come on you fuckers, you
Yeah.
might take our buildings, but you will not take our freedom!
Doing a lot of looting.
Oh, different
and
film.
a lot of looting going on. A lot of black market stuff going on. Blackout Ripper, the serial killer of World War II in London. I mean, yes, alright, people did really look out for one another in that time. The majority of people, but there's
There was
always
the odd
twats.
chances, wasn't there?
There's always twats.
Yeah.
A lot of crime during the Blitz.
Lot of crime. Remember, as soon as that house is bombed, you just fucking go in there and nick what you want.
Or that jewellers that's been bombed.
Exactly.
Excuse me. Sorry.
I always thought on bed knobs and broomsticks they just walked into somebody's house, didn't they? And it was sort of really fancy one in London.
Oh, bloody hell, Claire. I haven't seen that since I was a kid, I don't think.
No.
No.
Well, I was just like thinking, well, wouldn't they have like robbed them all if people have like gone to the country or the men have gone to war.
You've got staff if you're that wealthy.
Yeah. A lot of times it was just the kids that went.
I suppose as well, as soon as those air raids go off, the sirens, everyone runs down to the shelters, all their houses are empty. So you'd have a lot of chances.
That's it, if you're
probably just rob the houses.
And if that house gets bombed, you can find something nice amongst the rubble, you're taking it, aren't you?
Well, even if it's not been bombed,
yeah,
they're empty
yeah.
houses, they can go in and rob them.
You're running the risk of the bomb landing on that house you're robbing, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like I say, there's always twats.
Yeah.
Go back to Rip, little mixed breed terrier. He helped save over 100 bomb survivors. Survivor of the bombing himself, his rescuer, an air raid warden, described the wiry haired pooch as a complete mutt. He got a prestigious Dickin Medal for gallantry, and the medal remained on Rip's collar for the remainder of his life, and after his passing it sold at auction for $37,700 60 years later.
Whoa.
Another search and rescue dog. Jet was a German Shepherd. Oh, I'm surprised that. How could you trust a German Shepherd during World War II?
I don't think I don't think the dog knows it's got German in its name.
Max fought the other side at this point.
German heritage as well.
Oh yeah, I guess.
They're bred there, aren't
It's definitely got German, especially if it's an Alsatian. Max is a Rottweiler. They're bred in Rottweiler in Germany, or they were at this point.
But they don't know this, do they? That's my
that'll just
point. I'm a dog.
I don't know. I always think he looks at the German game more when it's playing. If I'm watching during the World Cup,
It's deep rooted in his blood.
It's very interesting. The last World Cup for Germany.
Does he sit up in his ears point when he hears the German national anthem?
He just raises a paw.
He's doing like a funny salute, does he?
Raises a paw. Yeah, I don't know what it is. She was the search and rescue dog of Corporal Wardle, who then managed to save 150 people during the Nazi air raid bombings. Once the dog located a woman in the debris of a destroyed London hotel and stayed with her for 12 hours while rescue went to work. That must have been nice, having the dog to stroke while you're trapped in the rubble.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was a German Shepherd. You'd be fucking freaked out. Oh, they've come! They've landed! They're coming to get me! They've sent their dogs on us! Yeah, you'd have to write some funny little note on its collar just to
It just
wind them up.
lick in your face and put a savage in your face, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you'd know in a second, really, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You might have that initial fear, Pete. You might think, oh my god, the paratroopers have landed with their attack dogs. But then the second he starts licking your face, you go, oh, maybe not then. You might let out a little bit of wee.
It's when he cocks his leg on your face. That's the only bad bit. It's like, oh, god damn it!
Oh, well, he got the
Dickinson
Medal in
medal as well.
1945.
God, but hardly any Dickin medals are handed out these days, isn't it?
We have got a more recent one.
Have we?
Yeah. Gustav, go World War II. He's a messenger pigeon. We've gone to pigeons.
Said there'd be a pigeon in it.
Speckled Jim!
Speckled Jim.
The fastest, his favourite.
General Melchant's beloved childhood
That's
pet.
it. His beloved.
Just Speckled Jim and carrier pigeon, who Captain Blackadder then shot and ate. Who's
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Well, we know he did.
The classic Blackadder goes for.
People that aren't from the UK have never heard or seen Blackadder.
I'd imagine it's on the iPlayer.
If you can find it, find it. It is hilarious.
And don't give up after season 1.
No. If you start
Carry on, it
getting-
gets better.
If you start getting bored of season 1, just skip past it. Go straight to season 2 if you need to.
Yeah, that's what I say. Straight to season 2 and
Yeah.
then go back to season 1.
Yeah, you'll go
Yeah.
back to season 1 maybe and appreciate it more.
Either way, Gustav in June 1944 brought back the first news of the Normandy D-Day invasion. He'd covered over 150 miles of flight in a little over 5 hours. That's impressive.
Brilliant, isn't it?
The trip was from France's northern coast to his loft outside of Portsmouth, and the message he delivered is a piece of history. Quote, "We are just 20 miles or so off the beaches. First
Quoting the
assault
pigeon
troops."
here, yeah.
Eh?
You're quoting the pigeon.
I'm quoting the message the pigeon gave.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you know the British Army had trained pigeon linguists who could communicate with the pigeons, Mike?
Pigeon whisperers.
Yeah, did you know that?
It's a little bit like Morse code, like instead of do 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 do, woo, 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 and yeah,
And then he just sits on the thing.
yep.
The message that Gustav delivered read, "We are just 20 miles or so off the beaches. First assault troops landed at 0750. Signal says, no interference from enemy gunfire on beach. Steaming steadily in formation. Lightnings, typhoons, fortresses crossing since 045. No enemy aircraft seen. Sorry, 0545. No enemy seen."
He's got fucking brilliant English, and he writes really well. That is one clever fucking pigeon.
And this was this would have been typical at the time, because we didn't actually get much resistance from the Germans.
The Brits didn't.
No.
The Americans did.
Yeah.
At Omaha.
Well, we went
obviously.
to the right
And
beaches.
Point to Hock.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
went
but they had to be taken. That was the thing. You got to. And it was the Americans had the most men and material, and the Brits were like,
But they were deceived, the Germans. We had this dead body, didn't we, with his maps in
yeah,
it.
we threw him overboard.
Yeah. With fake landings.
Fake landing plans, all
Yeah.
pointing to Calais region, because that made more sense. Calais is only 20 miles. Yeah, 20 miles or so. Is it 22 miles?
yeah,
Something
about
like that. Something
yeah,
like
about
that. From
22,
Dover
I
to
think,
Calais. So Hitler's like, well, they're obviously going to come at Calais. It's the
Yeah.
shortest sea lane. And we went, now we're going to go the longest sea lane in the worst weather.
And we did surprise them. In
We
most
did.
places.
In most, Point to Hock was a bit of a bloodbath,
Yeah.
and so was Omaha, obviously.
It's like the beginning of Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
That's Omaha Beach.
That was the
That
Yanks,
was the
wasn't it?
worst. And there were very few like that. Most of it.
I think gold and
Little to no
or Juno.
resistance.
I couldn't remember what it was. Gold something.
We had gold and Juno, along with us and the Canadians, and we like on one of those beaches we lost like less than 200 guys dead. It was just we just came ashore. That was pretty much unopposed. Or 200 casualties. It was that's pretty light. Remember, you got warships pounding these fucking beaches as well.
Yeah, they were just.
Yeah,
Omaha was just particularly fucking unlucky, really, in the sense. I think it didn't help the way
It was
they
the
did it.
strongest. It was the strongest point on the Normandy Atlantic Wall, basically. And you had Point to Hock overlooking it. It could create a crossfire situation. It could have been worse. Turns out those guns were never installed, just the bunkers.
And you know what was the best German defences, the best fortification?
What?
The Channel Islands.
Yeah, they never used them. We were watching Nazi. Me and Mike have been watching Nazi megastructures.
And they built up the Channel Islands.
Yeah, it's an
Didn't they?
incredible fortress.
Yeah.
So many miles, 200 miles of tunnel in it. Loads of anti-aircraft guns. There was like 20,000 guys stationed there for most of the war,
Yeah.
and all that. And then
We just were like, well,
No,
we're
we're-
attacking that.
we're never doing that. We're not attacking that. We did D-Day
Circumvented it.
and never bothered with them. And after the war, they just surrendered. Imagine getting stationed there instead of being on the Russian front.
Well, it was a Nazi island paradise.
That's what they wanted to market it as after the war. They wanted to market it as a Nazi island paradise. They're going to build it up as a tourist island.
Never.
Oh shit!
They had some grand schemes, didn't they?
It certainly did. Good job they never came to fruition, really.
Yeah.
That's because of us. And the Yanks, they played their part too. Let's go to the Americans on the other side.
And
Let's
the
go to the Pacific.
Canadians, and the Indians, and
And everyone else,
Everyone
yes.
else.
The Empire.
Australians and-
The Empire. The Colonials.
yeah. Let's not forget them.
The Aussies had heavy casualties,
Yeah.
didn't
They did.
they? Really heavy casualties.
Let's go to the Pacific front and talk about a goat.
Oh,
Sorry, not a goat. What the fuck am I on about? Let's go to the Pacific front and talk about a duck. That's even better.
Yeah.
The US military invades the island of Tarawa in an attempt to seize the Japanese heavily fortified Beto Island and the Gilbert Islands. Thousands of US military marines go into the fray against thousands of Japanese soldiers, both sides wrestling for control of the 2-mile speck of island. And it was a bit of a bloodbath, to be fair. And there, in the middle of the brutal clash on the beach, a duck makes its way from the ship to shore and jumps on a Japanese rooster. Seawash the duck was a member of the 1st Battalion 10th Marines, and she got some serious multiple pecks to the head on Normandy Beach. Managed to defeat her adversary on the Tarawa Beach. That article's wrong. Seawash the duck was a member of the 1st Battalion 10th Marines. And she did get some pecks to the head as a result of the fight, but she managed to defeat her adversary. She would refuse medical attention, apparently, until the remainder of her US military gun section got taken care of first, and she would also see action at Tinian and Saipan.
Fair play.
Life magazine immortalised the duck in 1943, quoting them, "With utter disregard for his own personal safety, Seawash, upon reaching the beach, without hesitation engaged the enemy in fierce combat, namely one rooster of Japanese ancestry, and though wounded on the head by repeated pecks, he soon routed the opposition."
I think that's quality. He's like that. Right, I'm a bird. I'm off with these guys. Right, we're attacking these guys. There's another bird on the beach. He's my target.
Yeah,
I'm having him. I can go against him. Not those big buggers with 2 legs.
He went into action on other beaches though, where there's machine guns going off, mortar exploding. This duck's just waddling up the beach with its mates.
Pecking people's ankles.
Yeah. I bet there's more than once this duck got under the feet of some guy with a bayonet and like the Marine managed to get the drop on him instead. This duck could have broken bonsai charges for all we know.
He's lucky he wasn't crispy and aromatic, isn't
He
it?
fucking is, isn't he? We got a goat next.
Bah.
Canadian soldiers defied protocol, smuggled their mascot out of Saskatchewan during World War One and into France. Sergeant Bill saw combat, getting shell-shocked trench foot and suffering shrapnel wounds.
That goat is shell shock.
I shouldn't be laughing.
But he just like shivering all the time for a bit, and then he gave him some fucking brandy.
Is he one of them fainting goats?
He could be. Maybe every time a fucking shell went off, he fainted. The goat with military rank once went missing, and another time the goat got itself arrested for chewing on military equipment. But
Got arrested.
That's pathetic, innit?
hey, he's got rank. He's a member.
Sergeant.
He could be taking orders from that fucker.
He could be giving.
And in this case, he does give orders because he bravely says 3 lies by headbutting 3 dudes into a trench before a shell explodes.
Wow.
Wow.
So there's his orders, get out the fucking way.
That's brilliant. Why are they all... It's such a shame, like, that you couldn't, like, meet these goats or bears and have a wrestle with them, like, and cause they sound like they sound like legends. You know what I mean?
I know, but you're pissed off if you were a corporal in the army and your goats promoted above you.
Sorry, Corporal Martin, we decided to give the promotion to Sergeant Bill here.
You're gonna be fucking kidding me.
Let's see, if we had a video cast now, I'd show you my goat impression.
I don't want to see you got
So there'd be
impression.
no point. My goat impression would actually kill you, I think. I think it would, wouldn't it? You've seen my goat impression, haven't you? Yeah.
We could order him to milk him, couldn't he?
Yeah. Well, do you think he just like he strolled into your tent and wiped his cock across your face so he'd sleep, and that's his order to milk you? Is that what you suggested?
It was a girl or a boy goat, did it?
It
That's
doesn't.
true.
I assumed it was male.
In fact, his
Named
name's
Bill.
Bill.
Oh, right then.
Could be Billamina, but I doubt it.
I forgot that bit.
Next we have Jack. Edith Cavell was an English nurse who helped over 200 Allied soldiers escape German-occupied Belgium during the First World War. Cavell would sometimes take Jack on walks providing cover for the escaping soldiers as they travelled to meet their guides. She was caught, tried and convicted of treason and was executed by firing squad on the 12th of October 1915.
What the song was?
No, she was.
I thought it was a
Not
dog.
Jack.
Okay, I thought Jack was executed.
No, Jack was rescued by Princess Mary de Croix after Cavell's execution and taken to the family's country estate in Belgium where he remained upon his death in 1923. His embalmed body was sent to the Norfolk branch of the Red Cross, and Jack was on display at the Imperial War Museum in London until 2013.
Saved by a princess. Score.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you just end up being a fucking trophy in the museum, didn't you?
Well, he's obviously lived his life, hasn't he? They haven't just said the princess saved him, slit his throat and stuffed him.
Yeah, fair enough. A more recent one, 2010. Trio, the Labrador, British Army, October 15th, 2008. And while acting as forward protection for 8th Platoon, the Royal Irish Rifles, Trio located a daisy chain IED, an improvised explosive device, designed to trigger a series of bombs, and the bombs were located on a roadside where soldiers were about to pass. If the soldiers had passed through, the army confirmed there would have been considerable casualties. Without a doubt, Trio's actions and devotions to his duties while in the throes of conflict saved many lives.
If that had have gone off, that could have potentially been one of the worst IED attacks. That.
Well, pretty much all 95% of casualties in the Afghanistan conflict was was IED.
Do they just set them off, or do they just...
No, they just walk past them. They just make really good little trip switches and things like that. They're really fucking
really
savvy.
well hidden.
Really, really good at it.
Will our army, will they disable them or set them off?
Oh, they'll disable them
Depends.
if they...
It would be up to the officer at the front. There's usually an officer of the patrol who's a bomb expert.
You never seen
An
the
EO, an XO, the explosive
I
expert.
didn't watch that.
Hurt Locker, good film. Quite a sad film as well.
It's about bomb disposal, isn't it?
Disposal, yeah, in Afghanistan.
There's an obscure British comedy on the BBC called Bluestone 4-2, which was written about
That was quite
squad
funny,
of
that
guys protecting an explosives officer
That was good.
in
That
Afghanistan.
They only did a couple of seasons,
Yeah.
didn't they? Shame.
Because they went a bit mad at the end.
It could have.
They got cancelled.
Yeah, it could have been. It could have carried on if it wanted to, but yeah, it was good though. That it had a really hot woman in it.
It did.
I can't remember who it was now, but she was really hot.
Well, fair enough.
I always remember wishing, like, when I was back in Nam and that, I had a really hot sergeant like that or something. But no.
Is that your fantasy?
Yeah.
Well,
You could have had a pigeon.
Could have had a pigeon called Princess instead.
Oh, I like a bit of pigeon.
Carrier pigeon who served in World War II, sent on a special mission to Crete. She returned to her loft at RAF Alexandria in Egypt, having travelled around 500 miles, mostly overseas. She was carrying vital information which she delivered safely in one of the finest performances in the war record of the pigeon service.
Nice.
That's impressive.
She ain't going to be able to fly with that round the neck, though, is she?
So she's got a dirty big medal on. she's wearing it proud, but
Oh yeah, she looks very proud.
I doubt she'd be able to fly with it.
Simon the cat. True World War II hero, smuggled aboard the frigate HMS Amethyst by 17-year-old seaman George Hickenbottom, he quickly became a member of the crew. He was then tragically injured during the Yangtze incident, but nevertheless carried on his duties disposing of rats when the ship became overrun with them, as well as restoring the morale of the crew. Sadly, Simon passed away while quarantined back in the UK after contracting a viral infection as a result of his war wounds.
Aww.
Light and fluffy.
Oh, he's a lovely cat as well.
Black and white.
Bit like Felix the cat. Bit like Styx. My ex-wife's cat.
Right, another pigeon who saved 194 lives after being shot through the chest.
What?
Cher Ami was a messaging pigeon serving in the Argonne Forest with the 77th Infantry Battalion when the battalion of 550 soldiers she was with was completely cut off by German forces. After 4 days of heavy fighting, friendly artillery decided the battalion must have surrendered already and began firing on the 77th, which seems a bit of a silly thing to do. Since they just refused an offer to surrender and was very much still in the position, this was a problem. As it usually is when your own artillery decides they're going to drop shells on your own position. Major Charles Whitley ordered a message sent back to headquarters, but the group's 3 pigeons were quickly shot down, and the Germans used to have marksmen who would shoot down pigeons.
Alright.
Up with the guys at the front, because
We don't want messages getting through.
exactly
do we?
they'd have trained guys who would shoot the pigeons. Cher Ami, despite a hole in her chest and a nearly amputated leg, got back into the air and delivered her message, and 194 soldiers made out alive thanks to her actions.
Wow.
It's just wow, innit?
Yeah.
Fuck. Just So that when you say they're being forced against their will to do these jobs, in nearly all of these cases we've read so far, I like to believe, maybe other than the pig, I like to believe that most of these animals, we all know that animals in all different shapes and size have
instinct.
some real, no, but not just that, some real affinity with people.
Yes,
you can make real bonds with animals, whether it's a cat, a fucking bird, an iguana.
A goat.
There's all sorts of animals that you can make real connections
You can domesticate
with
them with in a way.
Yeah.
If you have them from birth, especially.
So with something like this kind of highlights what I'm trying to get to, is that I think they're a bit more than they know. There's something in them that knows they've got to get this message across there. Because this fucking pigeon's been shot, lost a leg nearly, and it's fucking got up and got to its actual destination where it's got to go. It's like it knows it has to do it for the people it loves. Maybe.
I think more likely
it's going to be cared for potentially if it gets back.
It's trained, isn't it?
Is it just an instinct? I can still fly. But my natural instinct is to get the fuck out of here. Where am I going to go? Home.
Then you've got the duck.
The duck? Yeah, the duck's an odd one.
Yeah.
Then you've got...
I mean, I've seen in a couple of articles, the duck refused medical treatment until all the other guys were treated. How odd is that?
And then it allowed them to treat
it. It's a reincarnated soldier, that duck.
You think it is?
Yeah.
But you think, like, the bear, how well that was and what it did, and the dog that...
But they got it as a cub with the bear, and I guess... You can domesticate a bear if you play with it enough as a cub, but my God, you still got to be careful.
It's a risky one.
It's a risky one.
Definitely.
But then again, it also relies on you for food. And if bears are clever, if they get food for carrying ammunition, he's going to carry ammunition because he's going to get food.
It's just Pavlovian conditioning.
But is it this on the genetic level? These animals have a trainability gene that obviously they respond better to the old reward and praise and for carrying out a task.
I don't know, because it takes generations, doesn't it? Even cats are semi-domesticated.
Yeah, but we throw up these are mutations possibly in that. I'm just looking at it from another level.
I just like.
I got deep then onto the sciencey, didn't I?
I just like to think.
Yeah, you got it in me sometimes.
I just like to think there's maybe more to the animals than we think. That most of us think there is that little bit more to them, and they have some kind of concept of what is actually going on, and they do pick a side in a way. Maybe
stick with the guys that feed them, and
look at the German Shepherd.
It's the guys that feed them and the guys that they're packing it. This is
well, that's what I mean. So
you don't get a dog that one day is like an American, like a cat going with the Americans, and they go on the side. You know what a cat would though, wouldn't it? A cat would cross the lines. That's why I know in the front line everyone's a cat mascot, because the cat would be constantly going up the Germans, getting fed by them, coming back to the Americans, getting fed by them. You're playing both sides all the time. You wouldn't know whether to trust it. You'd go into the German positions, and the cat would be there wearing an SS uniform. And they put on him when he goes. And you're like, oh my God, mittens!
Cats might be good spies though as well.
If you get a robot cat at that point, yeah, you can't just stick a big camera on the back of a cat. So there's one or two. Passes up with the cat's back.
So now we've gone to robot cats. Okay, moving on.
He's just got a fat back.
He's covering this giant camera with fur. It's like a Spinosaurus. This cat.
Well, obviously, it'd be wearing a little mini helmet, wouldn't it?
Oh right, it's got a helmet on it instead.
Little helmet cam.
It's 1944, Claire. We haven't got this luxury.
Damn.
Oh, let's go back to a dog. Sergeant Stubby.
Oh.
Let's have a look at a picture of Sergeant Stubby. Look at him there.
Oh, he looks so
He's
proud.
a little
Mastiff, isn't he? Mastiff breed.
Yeah, some kind of bull terrier of some sort, isn't it?
In 1917, Stubby joined a group of American soldiers training for the trenches of World War One. He deployed with the men overseas and proved himself in battle multiple times waking soldiers as he sensed incoming artillery strikes and infantry assaults that human sentries hadn't yet detected.
Makes
That's
sense.
the thing, he'd hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd hear it way before
Yep.
us.
His most heroic moment came when he found and seized a German spy moving near the American position. He bit into the German's pants, his trousers, his ass, and raised a ruckus,
I'm not
holding the
surprised.
spy in place until the infantryman could relieve him of his prisoner.
I bet he was relieved when they fucking released his jaws from his ass.
Yeah.
Because when they bite you, they don't fucking let go.
They do not.
Any kind of bulldog, that's it, isn't
Nope.
it?
No, a Rottweiler can actually break your arm with its bite. Much like my swan's neck.
Lockjaw's a myth.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as lockjaws. When people say, oh, pit bulls, they got lockjaw, they fucking haven't. They've just got an extremely fucking strong bite and you cannot release it unless you
Yeah.
stick your finger up its arse.
It's the only way, innit?
Honestly, that
Yeah.
is the fucking way. Or if you can grab their knackers, if they've got knackers, you fucking grab their knackers and squeeze, it will let go.
Can I Steve Irwin?
I'm thinking animal molester.
He's a bit grumpy. He's sticking his finger up
He's
his
a
butt.
grumpy one, this. That's alright, I'll just
You're
jump
not
off
coming within.
his ass.
You're not coming within fucking 10 feet of Maximus.
Does anyone else think he looks a bit like Sherlock Holmes in this picture?
Sergeant Stubby is wearing a little gas cape. He's got a little hat.
What's the cape?
I think he's got a little gun put in his cape.
He's got some kind of something in there.
He looks proud as fuck in that picture.
He has
Yeah,
got
I've
a gun.
Sherlock
Yeah.
Holmes,
He has got a little. He's got
He's
a
got
gun.
a rifle put in with his.
Obviously, he's not using
map.
the rifle. It's just in there for show. But he's
The
got a
soldier-
little. He's got a little uniform. He's got a little
One of
cape.
the soldiers has given him his gun. That's so funny.
And despite being caught in multiple gas attacks, right, Sergeant Stubby survived the war, and the Supreme Commander of American Forces in World War One, General John Blackjack Pershing, personally awarded him a gold medal in 1921 for his efforts.
Nice.
Wow.
Quality.
I wonder where he ended up.
Living out his days in retirement, I guess.
Another horse.
Yeah. Sergeant Reckless.
Another good name for a war horse.
Exact Sergeant Reckless.
Sergeant Reckless.
Marine and anti-rifle platoon during the Korean War. She served in a few battles of ammo carry and evacuated wounded troops when necessary. In the Battle of Vegas in early 1953, Reckless carried rounds for 3 days straight.
Battle of Vegas?
It would have been like
Las Vegas?
not in the Korean War. You would give positions you would know, so you call like you might have.
I was going to say,
One hill might be New York, one hill might be Vegas.
missed that
You know,
one.
you give it names you would know, so it's more easily identifiable. It's better than calling it Bravo, Delta, Charlie. Sometimes you'll do height, so I'll be Hill 431 because that's how tall it is. But you always end up giving shit nicknames.
I just think the
It was a
battle-
war against the gamblers and the smackheads.
Yeah.
And they won.
yeah.
What, the Las Vegas War?
Yeah.
I always assumed battles were named after when they were taken. Battle of Waterloo, Battle of...
Yeah, if it's a Battle of Hill Vegas, then it's Vegas, isn't it?
Oh, Hill Vegas. It doesn't say that, does it?
No,
Just
it's
Battle of
Vegas. I mean, I'm not up with the Korean War. I don't know. One of the few
But Korea's
ones
definitely not in Las Vegas in America.
No,
so-
but I'd imagine it's that similar thing that as soon as it's a name, a game given to that region to make it
Vegas
more easily
region.
familiar. Rather than pronouncing Korean names, you call it something simple like you'd know.
Vegas is probably a region that's there.
It might
Just
be.
'cause
I don't
Las
know.
Vegas
I'm
is
guessing.
called-
I'm assuming because
Yeah.
that's what we did in
Las
Iraq.
Vegas isn't exactly an American English name.
No, but
is
that's
it?
what we do in Iraq. Instead of pronouncing Arabic names, you give the towns names that were familiar to you. So, on British Army maps, you'd have like 3 Iraqi towns called Preston, Blackburn, Burnley, because that's the names that are familiar to you. It's easy to recognise them, rather than trying to go, what's Al Qadar versus Al Zabar? Yeah, well, under pressure that gets confusing. Give them simple names that you know.
I go to Blackpool. Come to Burnley.
But yes, yeah, but there's names are easier for you to pronounce over the radio too.
Wouldn't Burnley be just a pile of shit?
Yeah, it would be. That's what you call the worst village.
I found an IED in Telford. Just let it go. Let it off.
So Sergeant Reckless moved 386 rounds and travelled 35 miles despite suffering 2 wounds on the fiercest day of fighting. The first injury occurred when a piece of shrapnel struck her above her eye, and the second was a cut to her flank, but she survived, so she carried on serving.
Oh,
I wouldn't have got on her.
love horses.
Sergeant Reckless, I wouldn't have got on her.
Horses are amazing creatures, really, aren't they? In lots of ways.
Oh yeah. They've always been like, there's like humans and dogs and then cats, and after that it's horses, isn't it, surely? In terms of animals that you make that bond
I'd
with.
say they certainly have a bond with people, don't they? Like
The animals have been with us for ages, because we've always used horses for riding, haven't we? You know, it's like...
It's instinctive
They've
now.
been with us, and it's between... Well, let's face it, I mean, we haven't mentioned the elephants, we haven't mentioned Hannibal's elephants.
Yeah.
You know, those guys were pretty heroic, going across the Alps,
In all fairness.
fighting a war in northern Italy.
They're a good fucking war creature, aren't they? Because what takes down an elephant? Not fucking much, really.
Yeah,
Especially
well-
back in the day.
Well, when you've got a bunch, 8 of them charging at your infantry position, well, your infantry formation is not going to hold when it's hit by 8 elephants running at you, is it?
No, swords, whatever, it's not going to
Flaming
fucking help.
pigs.
Flaming pigs have been used by the Romans as well. Grease up a load of pigs,
Set
them on fire.
run at
They'll
the
run
elephants.
towards the enemy, breaks their position. Dogs were used by the Saxons to break
Set
shield
on fire
walls.
alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, light and fluffy,
How
Claire.
do they know
Cover
which
them in
way
oil.
they're going to run?
Well,
Or push them out that way. Set them on
They'll
fire.
run away from the flames. You have them in little cases, and they would they're covered in flammables. And you'd put the torch in, and the pig, and you'd let the thing up. The pig's immediately going to run away from the fire, which is on its back, so it's going to run away from it.
It freaked the elephants out.
Yeah.
Sick bastards.
I know.
I suppose
Who
you got
thinks of this
you got
shit?
ready fucking made hog roast at the end of the battle, though, I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh, can you smell that cooking?
You can do it on an old classic computer game called Medieval Total War Rome, where you conquered
Do you know what?
It was Command and Conquer and Civilization mixed together.
I've got it on my PC
Yeah,
still.
it's classic, but you can get greased pigs on that. You set them on fire before the battle and launch them with the enemy formation. Great defensive technique, because it breaks up an enemy infantry.
I may well have used them in the past.
Yeah.
Because I rinsed that game back in the day when it came out.
Yeah.
I
That's
thought
mad,
you'd
though.
catapult them in.
Almost like Angry Birds kind of thing, like
Yeah, that they
flaming pigs go
they
catapult.
set the place on fire, like.
Now, because you're giving them cooked meat then.
In that
No.
case, you just use flaming materials, wouldn't you?
No, what you do is-
Why
No, you send
Flaming
the
bags
severed
of-
heads of their friends and family over the
Yeah.
wall, don't you? Come on, that's what you do.
Flaming bags of poop.
And flaming bags of poo.
stamp on that.
That would look fucking nasty napalm, that, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah, you wouldn't want that. Should we go to Vietnam?
No thanks. No, I suppose nowadays it's not too bad. Oh right, okay.
In the
You got any
water.
nice beaches?
Yeah, loads. It's beautiful in Vietnam. One of my mates went there not long ago. Some of
Nice.
the pictures and videos he had on there. He spent a month there.
I've seen Apocalypse
Lucky
Now.
bugger.
I know you can. Charlie don't serve.
One of our old mates went there, didn't he?
Yeah, you got offered a chance to blow up a cow with an RPG for $20.
What?
Yeah,
Did he?
yeah. No, he didn't. No,
Oh.
he said he didn't. He shot the AK and all that, and all the war gear. And they said, "Do you want to shoot that cow with an RPG for like $20?" And he was like, "Nah, you're okay."
Yeah, it'd be hard to shoot a cow, wouldn't it?
It would.
If it was a carcass or something, yeah, fair enough. An old fucking car or something, yeah, brilliant. You rip their arm off, wouldn't you, for $20?
Yeah.
Blow up that old wreck of a car. Yes, please. Here's $20. Have you got any more cars? I've got plenty more money.
Cow for $20, is that it?
Yeah,
I suppose they'd get some meat out of it.
everything's
Probably
dirt
worth
cheap.
a lot.
There wouldn't be
Yeah.
fuck all
Every-
left.
Everything's dirt cheap. I mean, like you saw the Top Gear Vietnam special. Here's 8 million dong.
Yeah,
It buys them a £1,000 scooter.
and there was
You know,
Right.
$20.
Sucky.
$5 sucky, whatever. I didn't know they spent it. I wasn't there.
those silk bloody suits that they bought.
Yeah, they were like
Tailor-made silk
tailor-made
suits. and that.
suits for like $10 or something like that. It's ridiculous. It's the dongs. There's millions of dong to a dollar. The dollar's king out there. It is. Even though America's lost.
cheap holiday destination then?
Well, after the flight's taken
when
out.
you're there, I guess. Yeah, it's probably quite cheap to be if you're not in a touristy spot.
It's a beautiful country as well.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
No, it's a stunning place. Anyway.
Well, back to the Nemo the dog.
Nemo.
Airman Second Class Bob Thornburg and Nemo were patrolling a cemetery near their base in Vietnam on December 4th, 1966, when they were attacked by the Viet Cong. Nemo was shot in the eye, while Thornburg took him round to the shoulder. Thornburg had been able to kill 2 of the guerrilla attackers, bit of a badass, but would have fallen to the rest if Nemo hadn't ignored his own injuries while to attack the remaining guerrillas while guarding his handler. Nemo bought enough time for reinforcements to find and rescue the pair, and he was allowed to retire to a personal kennel after the firefight.
Ah, quality. What was he? Doesn't say.
Doesn't say. Probably a German Shepherd, I'd imagine. Most commonly used, because there's a lot of German Shepherds in Southeast Asia, weirdly. Quite a popular dog breed. I saw a bloke who used to go to Thailand a lot told me. Did he have a couple of younger wives? Yes, he did.
As I said, did he marry a ladyboy?
No, he liked younger Taiwanese women. He was married to like a very attractive, like late 20s-year-old. She was like 30 at most, and he was like pushing 60. And then he was married to a even younger, probably like early 20s girl. Yeah, he come back and work for 6 months as a taxi driver, solid. And then go and live the life of a millionaire in Thailand for 6 months with his young wife.
Nice.
That was his life. But yeah.
What about this Corporal Jackie?
Corporal Jackie the baboon, the last one we'll do.
Nazi baboon.
He's not a Nazi.
He's just got a really evil look about him.
He is squinting his eyes a bit, isn't he?
Is it a she?
It's a she, isn't it?
Well, when
What's her
Albert
name?
Marr was drafted by the South African Army to fight in the First World War, he refused to leave his pet baboon Jackie behind, so he's part of the Empire troops in the First World War. Jackie went on to serve his country with distinction. He marched with the men, saluted superior officers and fought in the trenches. He was issued with a uniform, paybook, rations, and was made official mascot of the Transvaal Regiment.
Imagine fucking fighting in a trench with a baboon.
I'd fancy me chances a bit more, wouldn't you?
I'd be well chuffed, definitely.
Would you?
Mate, they would literally rip your arms off. If they grabbed your arms, they would just rip your arms off.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, if they were on
Oh,
the side.
sorry, hang on. Yeah, fighting with a baboon, as
No,
in side by side, not against a baboon.
Fighting against.
Yeah, I don't want to fight against a
You're the
baboon.
German. You
No,
go
no.
into the opposing trench,
And there's a fucking baboon screeching at you. It just jumps
baby,
on you and
get
rips
out
your
of it.
face
Yeah.
off with a swipe of its claw. No!
Yeah,
And then it fucking sticks
Of course
its
not.
massive red protruding anus onto your face, and that's the last thing you see.
rubs it in like.
Yeah!
Oh.
No, I don't want that! No!
Yeah, great.
That's what I
fucking-
mean. Yeah, you don't.
Great
want it.
ally.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. He got wounded in the line of duty, sustaining a bullet to the shoulder and getting his right leg blown off. Lion Fluffy.
Fucking hell.
He was promoted from private to corporal after the war and retired with a full military pension.
Fucking
Wow.
hell.
Aww.
Oh, pension, never.
They looked after the animals better than the soldiers.
Yeah.
They give the soldiers pensions too, like.
Did they?
Yes.
Did
Just not just the animals. It'll be cheaper if we give that pigeon a few quid a
they?
week.
They put the soldiers down. Gave the pensions to the animals.
Yeah, that baboon went on to be a field marshal.
Retired on 40 grand a year.
Imagine that though, going, right, I've been drafted for the First World War, and you turn up at the recruiting station with your fucking pet baboon, and you're like, what do you think that is, son? It's your pet baboon, I'm not leaving him. What do you mean you're not leaving him? Look, I'm not fucking leaving him, he's coming with us.
Don't worry, he'll rip
So
some
you
Nazi
get a
arms
fucking
off.
unit of the First World War.
He'll rip some
German arms off.
Yeah,
German arms, you know, not every soldier was a Nazi.
No.
I'd imagine it was less and less towards the end of the war.
Yeah.
But, you know, these Kaiser men, there you go.
I think a Field Marshal Baboon would have done better than the generals in the war.
I don't think he would somehow. I mean, I know the generalship wasn't fantastic, but I don't think the baboon would have done better. He'd have just smashed the map table up. Right, massive artillery strike, okay.
He wouldn't have done any worse than Melchett.
That's true. The Germans have learned of our top secret plan. We walk slowly into the machine gun fire and hope it goes better than last time. That was the plan.
Crazy war.
Well, Jackie survived. I read an interesting statistic about the First World War, actually. One fucked up fact towards the end. 4 out of every 9 British servicemen on the Western Front in France were killed. 4 out of every 9.
Cool.
Mad, isn't it?
And some of the Dominion countries, South Africa, Canada, had even higher age. New Zealand was something like 6 in 10.
I know the Aussies took heavy casualties, didn't they?
Yeah, the Australians and New Zealanders.
I'd say maybe
yeah.
that they
The
would have been one
Yeah.
force, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
Pretty
the
much,
Anzacs, Australian, New Zealand Army Corps.
So I remember hearing about
They used
that.
to have sweet hats with like a cowboy hat
Yeah,
with a
they
thing
were
pulled up to the side.
There's a
really
good film called Gallipoli.
Yeah, Mel Gibson slags us off again. He loves fucking doing that, doesn't he, Mel Gibson? The Brits are the bad guys every time.
You're not the bad guys, are we?
Oh, we were for a long time, yeah.
Are we the baddies?
Yeah, we're the ones that think we're good. Are we actually?
But then the Nazis came along and trumped everybody.
We weren't that
And then
bad.
we stamped them out.
We weren't that bad.
Yeah, we were.
I don't know.
We invented concentration camps.
Yeah, but I mean, that was shit, wasn't
The
it?
old Crusades and that, you know. They
That wasn't just us.
We starved millions and millions of Indians and other
Yeah.
natives.
All the colonial.
Kenyans and all
Still,
that.
not a time for this debate. Not a time for this
Remembering
debate.
the animals that
We're
gave
talking
their
about
lives.
war hero animals.
Yeah, we should,
So-
we should do an episode, Are We the Baddies? Shouldn't we?
Yeah, but this would be quite depressing, wouldn't it?
Well, we're allied with the Great Satan.
Alright, Mike, you're Iranian nationalist.
That's what Americans
I
know
was
around
thinking
the
of that picture.
world, really.
Oh my god, that's the Ayatollah amongst them all. We all thought it was Travis Bickle. Is that the
Travis Bickle.
Travis Bickle. Buckle. Travis Bickle's actually the Ayatollah.
No, but that's what the US are known as, aren't they? Around the world, the Great Satan.
Does that mean with the little Satan?
Must be.
Oh well, war animals are great though, aren't they?
Yeah.
My favourite was Sergeant Stubby.
The duck, for me.
The
Also-
duck is pretty badass.
Also, what he calls his penis.
My favourite is Swan's neck. We've established this.
Yeah, I like the duck, the reincarnated duck.
Yeah, the duck's on top of my list. It's just the way it like went and kicked ass, kicked that fucking Japanese.
I wonder why the Japanese had a
Chicken's
rooster.
ass.
Isn't it weird that they just happen to have a rooster as a mascot, and the Americans just happen to have a duck as a mascot?
It was a sign of luck and things like that.
It's a bit of a morale boost, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you can stroking an animal is comforting, isn't it? Stroking a cat, stroking a dog.
And if you've got a bear in your regiment,
if you've got a
that's pretty
bear-
cool, isn't it?
Or a
Fuck
baboon.
yeah,
A bear or a male baboon.
Yeah.
Either or.
yeah.
I'd rather have a wolf though. That would be cool.
It would. And the wolf would look cute in a little army uniform.
Pack of wolves.
I don't think you can summon a pack of wolves. You're not a wolfer, man.
The wolf would summon them. The wolf would just.
We're under attack and you're a wolf howler or something. These army of wolves come up.
That's exactly how it would work.
Just envelop the German. I'm assuming we're German, fine Germans here. I'm assuming we're on the Eastern Front.
Yeah.
I'm riding the lead wolf. To battle.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the saddle?
He's just barebacking it.
Careful. That's for after the battle.
Oh shit.
Oh,
On that bombshell.
well, I'm sure. Thanks for listening. I've been Ben. Don't join the Flavour Aid, don't join the cult, normal service. Not in Fluffy next week, probably.
I mean, Mike, thanks for listening. Peace out. May the force be with you.
I've been Claire, keep an open mind, but not so open that it spills out your ears.
And I've been Pete. Take it easy. Enjoy your week. Bye.